Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be comparing some thermal cameras that connect to Android phones. Now, as you've probably seen in some of my previous videos, I do use a thermal camera and I always use the same one. I always use this TopDon right here. The model is the TC001 and it's done me good for years now. I recommend it. But ThermoMaster sent me a thermal camera and they wanted me to compare my trusted TopDon to their ThermoMaster camera. It is the P3. I haven't even used it yet. All I've done is download the software. But I can see right off the bat that you can see by the size that the TopDon is actually a little bit bigger. And this one actually has a focusing ring on the front, so you can actually focus in, which is pretty nice. So we're going to go ahead and connect these up to these cameras right here, and we're going to record what's going on behind me, which is a 100 amp battery connected to a 1200 watt inverter. And it's going to be powering like 700 watts worth of heaters. But I connected these up horribly. So we're going to see if we can find hot spots and other issues with this connection. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright, along with a ThermoMaster camera, the other things that you get in this package are the ThermoMaster, the case, which has a little netting right here that can hold your little converter right here that converts it to an iPhone lightning cable plug. It also comes with like a 3-year warranty with a couple of QR codes. And it also has an extension cable. So if you can't connect it directly to your phone, you can actually use this extension cable for it. So that's a nice little feature. It also comes with a quick start guide that is in multiple languages. And then there's also the box right here. Okay, and to tell you the things that are wrong with this setup is this is a 1200 watt inverter and it is powering a 500 watt heater and a 200 watt heater, so that is in line, which is fine. But we're looking at the connections. First of all, these are like 10 gauge wire, so they are way too thin for this application. So you'll probably see these start to heat up as I run this power. Also, I've only hand tightened everything. So the connections are loose, they're not really that tight. You can see that I can just move them around. And on the positive of the battery, that bolt is way too long. You can see that it is way too long and that the conductor is just pretty much just setting on it. So that is going to be a really hot spot right there. So we're going to kind of monitor that through both of the thermal cameras. Okay, so let's go ahead and put both of these camera thermal imagers on the screen and see the difference right off the bat. Okay, so I'm going to have the TopDon on the top and the ThermoMaster on the bottom of the screen. I'll go ahead and label them just so you know. With the TopDon, you can see that it is not very good with the resolution. It's kind of fuzzy. And when it comes to the ThermoMaster, the lines are really sharp. I mean, you can look at the battery terminals and it's just kind of fuzzy. The wiring is a bit fuzzy, but with the ThermoMaster, I mean, it's a really sharp image, which is very nice. So let's go ahead and turn on this unit and we're going to kind of start watching the heat. All right, both of the heaters are on and we're pulling about 800 watts, but it's lowering back down and we're pulling about 750 watts right now. It'll probably lower all the way down to about 700. And what we're going to do is we're going to watch the cameras. Now, I've noticed right off the bat that the TopDon, it does kind of monitor right in the center, but I want to rotate this image, and I'm not really sure how to do it. Rotate. Yeah, but see, even if we rotate the image, the numbers are always going to be in the or on the portrait setting. So you always have to hold it in portrait mode. When the ThermoMaster, it automatically rotated so the numbers are correct. So that's one thing that I've noticed. And I also noticed that on both of these cameras, the background is 68.7 degrees Fahrenheit for the TopDon, and it's 68.9 degrees on the ThermoMaster, which is which is correct because it's about 68 degrees in this basement. But the connection, the positive connection to the battery, is showing 122 degrees in the TopDon, but the ThermalMaster is showing 135 degrees Fahrenheit. And when it comes to all the features of these cameras, they both basically have the same stuff. They have like a transparency mode, you can change the colors. That's all roughly the same stuff. I'm more interested in the image quality and the pretty much how fast the refresh rate is on the cameras. Yeah, and my the TopDon is showing 132 degrees Fahrenheit on that positive, when the ThermalMaster is showing 145 degrees Fahrenheit. And let's see on the ThermalMaster, let's try to figure out how to get it so we can see. There we go. If we press the top section, you can select. It shows temp all right now, but it's just showing the hottest spot, which is right now it's 155. But let's go ahead and do a point, and you can just select a point right there, or you can do a line. The average temperature, the max, and the minimum of that line. Let's just see if we can do a rectangle. Let's just delete all those. We'll do a rectangle. And again, it does show the max, which is 158 degrees. The minimum is 68 degrees. I'm gonna go ahead and switch it back to temp all. Okay, on this camera, let's see the TopDon. Yeah, the TopDon you can't pinch and zoom at all. But the ThermalMaster, you can pinch and zoom in, but it doesn't let you like kind of move the screen around. So you can only zoom in to you know, like the center point. And another thing I like about the TopDon is it does have that scale on the side. Now it shows 153 at the highest, which is that positive terminal. And it shows 68.6 degrees Fahrenheit at its lowest. So I kind of like that scale right there, and I don't think that the ThermalMaster has that scale. When it comes to the thermal cameras, both of them do make that clicking sound, and I believe that's kind of, it recalibrates every few seconds. The TopDon and the ThermalMaster both do that clicking. So that is just common with those thermal cameras. Now, okay, now we've been running this test for, about 7 or 8 minutes, and this battery is starting to get real hot. But I do notice that the TopDon has kept it at the highest temperature, which is 157 degrees Fahrenheit from that camera on that positive terminal, which is probably the highest point of this thermal image, when the ThermalMaster switched over to only recording the positive terminal on the inverter right there. So, and it's 143 degrees Fahrenheit. But I want to know what the temperature at the highest of the image is. So, I mean, it's almost like I have to do a rectangle around here. And now it shows 169 degrees Fahrenheit. So that's the hottest point, but it's not always triggering the highest point. Let's just click all. And yeah, we click on all again, and it goes back to showing the 144 degrees Fahrenheit of the inverter positive, and not the 167 degree Fahrenheit of the actual positive on the battery. And if I move the center point, yeah, there it goes. It switched back over there. Yeah, so once I moved that camera a little bit, it did trigger back over to the highest point, but I thought that was kind of odd that it didn't see that point. And just as a side note, look at that positive terminal. I mean, 160 on the TopDon, 170 on the ThermalMaster, and if you take just an average of that, that's 165 degrees. That's 165 degrees just because you have a loose connection. Okay, and these cameras are both stationary, so now I'm going to go ahead and take them off their tripods, and we're going to kind of see how well they flow while I'm kind of actually looking at stuff like I would actually do if I'm doing this test. So I'm going to do the TopDon first, and then we'll look at the ThermalMaster. Okay, with the TopDon, you can see that, the flow, the resolution, or not the resolution, but like the frame rate, you can see with the TopDon that the frame rate is really good. it keeps on kind of trying to figure out the highest and lowest temperatures, and then it does that center point right there. So if you like put the center point on something, you can see, I mean, the highest temperature is 173 degrees. If you looked at these, it's 110, it's 157 over here. But overall, the TopDon it's a really smooth, yeah, and then those heaters over there, which are 300, 225 degrees. But you can see that the frame rate is pretty good. So I'm pretty happy with the TopDon. Okay, and if we look at the frame rate of the ThermoMaster, it's actually really good, boy. I mean, the resolution is really good. It's better than the TopDon, I'm afraid to say. And also the refresh rate of the screen is really good. I mean, it just looks like I'm taking an image. So it looks really good. Yeah, that's 165 degrees right there. Let's see, over here. Again, we're looking at 169 degrees on the negative. And this wire is 127 degrees Fahrenheit. Let's see, the positive over there is 120 degrees Fahrenheit. And then again, you can see those heaters. But it seems like it doesn't really, like it doesn't quite capture the highest temp all the time. Yeah, because that's 177 degrees. It does seem like it tries to capture the temperatures quicker than the TopDon. And then you can turn on picture over picture, so you can almost kind of see what you're looking at. But that always kind of confuses me a little bit, so I always have that turned off. All right, well, I'm gonna go ahead and turn this test off because it's getting pretty hot. Okay, so what did I think when it comes to the difference between the TopDon and the ThermoMaster P3? Well, they both have their good and their bad when it comes to my opinion. The image quality of the ThermoMaster was definitely superior. You could easily see what you were looking at even through the thermal image. There was no fuzziness at all, and I felt like the temperatures were pretty accurate. Now, for what I use it for, I'm not looking for within a couple degrees Fahrenheit. I'm looking for hot spots on my battery setup configurations. And that's exactly what we had going on here. We have loose connections, so we're gonna have hot spots, and that's what you wanna look for. And that's why you wanna use these little cameras. But the image quality of this was very good. I like the fact that you could zoom in a little bit, even though it was a digital zoom, but you couldn't move the screen around. So that was kind of a downfall for that. When it came to the TopDon, the image quality wasn't as good. It is fuzzy. You can still kind of see what you're doing, but the clarity is nowhere near what the ThermoMaster is. The TopDon, when it comes to that range that it shows, I really like to be able to see a top and bottom range. So that is something that the software for the ThermoMaster just doesn't show. And also, while we were doing our testing, I thought it was kind of odd that the ThermoMaster switched from the highest temp item that it was showing to some other high temp on the actual image, even though it was on a tripod, so the camera really never moved. And the TopDon always stayed still when it came to the top and bottom ranges and where those were located. So they both have their quirks. If you're looking for image quality for your thermal camera, I would definitely go with the ThermoMaster. You can easily see a lot more clarity into it. And I also do like the other features that this has when it comes to the extension wire and the ability to work with Android or iPhone. This TopDon is only available for an Android device. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you have any questions about the ThermoMaster P3 thermal camera for Android or iPhone, please go ahead and leave them in the comments. I'll have a link to this item in my description just in case you want to look further into it. Thanks again and have a great day. Bye-bye.